Shalom, friends. While browsing through the rare book section on eBay, I once came across the following advertisement for an old Siddur. It said, "Here is a first edition of Siddur Tehilot Yisrael, published and printed in 1911 in Vienna. The copy is all in Hebrew except for a transliteration of the Kaddish from the last pages. The binding is fine, nice, and tight, and with clear, clean pages, no rips nor tears." I was intrigued by that description because for the bookseller, the mint condition of the item is its greatest asset. And that made me think of the radically different ways in which a savvy bibliophile and a sensitive Jew might appraise a particular volume. For the well-trained collector of antique books, a tome in pristine condition with no marks or blemishes, no creases or folds on the pages, no stains in the margins, might represent a fine specimen, able to command a high price at auction. But for the empathic Jewish reader, a sterile publication like that is not nearly as interesting as a well-worn book whose pages bear the variegated fingerprints of earlier readers, men, women, children who left their personal traces on the face of the text. Sometimes these trails take the form of handwritten comments in the margins or print that was smudged by tears. Sometimes the page corners are frayed and yellowed from too many turnings. I think of the most prized items in my personal library. They are all books that were abundantly used. A Haggadah with wine stains from Seder's past, a copy of Chaim Potak's novel, The Chosen, with many underlined passages from the time I first read it back in 7th grade. There was also the Black Siddur, from which my father would make Kiddush every Friday night when I was young, the last pages of which are sticky from wax that dripped from Hanukkah candles year after year. To the appraiser on eBay, these books would be considered damaged goods. But for me, the scars of their use make them priceless. During this season, we realize that all of us are the embodiments of books. All of us are authors of our own life stories. When we are born, we are like newly bound volumes with blank pages. And as the years go by, we fill our memoirs with a narrative of our experiences. And this, of course, is the central image of the High Holy Day liturgy as expressed in the Unatana Tokef. You open the book of remembrance and it speaks for itself, for every person has signed it with his deeds. But God does not appraise our worth in the manner of the bibliophile. God doesn't look for perfection or immaculate typeface. God looks for a volume that is well used to call dear, a life that has many different stains and marginal glosses. God seeks a text that reflects laughter and tears, successes and failures, one that has lines of dignity and courage interspersed with humility and grace. Most of all, God looks for a book that opens easily, not one whose spine is so stiff that the cover snaps when it is released. As we make our way through life with all of its eddies and shoals, this is what happens to us. The blessed byproduct of our foibles is that through them, we often become softer and more open to others. We don't snap shut that quickly. Just as the cracked spine of a book keeps the volume open, a life weathered by experience enables us to remain sympathetic to the plight of our neighbor. And for that reason, the psalmist tells us that God desires the broken heart. Only a heart that is broken is truly whole. Soon we will begin another year together. And in this second week of Elul, let us open the pages of our hearts in friendship and compassion towards one another as we read the lines and phrases on each other's faces, trying to see through the masks we still wear sometimes. Let's be grateful that what a purveyor on eBay might reject, God will consider most precious.